One of the hottest topics online, Andrew Tate. Talk to me a little bit about, what are some of the things that you picked up, whether on or off camera from Andrew, that maybe a lot of people don't get to see when they see the flash or the hype on social media. What was your take on Andrew?
Are you close to your mom or your dad?
Probably my dad.
Your dad?
Yeah.
Okay, but close to both?
Yeah.
But closer to your dad?
Yes.
Okay. Out of 10 things that you know with your dad, okay, are there areas where your dad is a 0 and areas where he's a 10 and areas where he's a 5S?
Sure.
Is there?
Yeah.
Okay, I can say the same thing about my mom, my dad, and a lot of different people, right? First time I interviewed Sammy the Bull Gravado, how could you interview? I mean, I cannot tell you how many emails we got and how many different families reached out to us about that interview. I mean, I can't even tell you how many. Yeah. Why are you interviewing this guy, Sammy? Do you know what he did? Do you know the 19 families? A lot of them reached out to us because of doing that interview. Okay. So, Andrew Tate. How can you interview Andrew Tate when you see him do this, that? Okay. The hardest thing people, have a hard time with is for us to isolate different areas of someone's life. Meaning, I can isolate and say, this guy went from 2 years ago, nobody knowing who he is. He's the most searched guy on Google. Love him or hate him. There's a lot of envy. There's a lot of jealousy. There's a lot of people that wish they could do what he does. It's not possible. He's one of the best communicators. He's one of the best storytellers. He's one of the best, most wittiest guy that comes up with stories to tell you at the right time, to challenge, to push, to do all of that, to troll, to talk smack, to educate, to give a different perspective. He is a entertainer, a philosopher, a troller, if you want to call it that. And at the same time, a dream seller is who he is.
Sure.
Okay? So you're able to isolate and say, man, this is very impressive what he's done here. This is pretty interesting what he's talking about in this area, calling out the globalists, the government, this, that. Very different perspective he gave here about marriage, about this, about that. Okay. And he's empowering men to have a little bit of backbone right now, that men have become a little bit soft, a little bit of pansies. Yeah, some of the philosophies you probably don't agree with. Hey, Pat, do you agree with the fact that he said, if you want to have a kid, go to South or Central America, get 3 girls pregnant and come back? Do you agree with that? Let's isolate that one area and ask me specifically to that. I'll give you my opinion. And then, hey, do you realize what he's going through? First of all, I believe in innocent until proven guilty. If he did what he did, the court's got to do what they got to do. Do I believe that some people can't stand what he talks about and they want to figure out a way for that to be silenced? Just a couple of days ago in UK, the Prime Minister has to sit up and answer in the Parliament about Andrew Tate in UK, the fact that a woman is saying, we are working so hard to work back all these years of progress we made with boys. What progress with young boys? These young boys are becoming pansies. You call that progress to get them to be sissies? That's progress to you? That's not progress. But to get into that conversation where they're now fearing him, we have to do a better job, or we need more money, or we're giving $2 billion to work with the social media companies to do a better job, and Yeah, so is he making some points that he's scaring the crap out of some people? Yes. Are there some young boys that are taking it and saying certain things to young girls in schools and they're acting like idiots? Is that happening? I 100% believe it's happening. But you know what's confusing to me? Nobody criticizes Little Nas X coming down and, giving a lap dance to the devil. That's cool with you? Okay. Hey, nobody says forget about body count, Cardi B. You're okay with that? All right, cool. That's your values and
rappers, hip hop, or whatever.
Hey, listen, Tupac. What's Tupac's one of his, the song that cost him his life? That's one of the top workout songs for some guys that like him. That's why you fat mother. What song is that? Hit 'em up.
Yeah.
Did you say anything about that? Goes back to kind of like the song when Bone Thugs and Harmony did, where they used that preacher's line where he says, "We're not against rap, we're not against rappers." But we are against those thugs. And the song was, it's the Thuggish Ruggish Bone. It was by Bone Thugs and Harmony. Beautiful thing that they used, and it took off. It was a great album. More murder, all this other stuff. But how come we don't talk about those things? How come we don't talk about the current rap on how they label women and these music videos? By the way, I'm not telling you to do anything to it. So I'm not one that's saying, let's eliminate all these tapes. Let's eliminate all these CDs. Let's eliminate all these. I'm not telling you that.
Yeah.
But if you're okay with that, and all of those movies and cartoons and bullshit stuff that you're trying to groom kids with.
That's disgusting.
You worry Tate, what he's saying? No, so the challenge I have is the level of hypocrisy and contradiction where if you are presenting your argument and you're okay with Little Nas X, you should be okay with Tate because he's the complete opposite side. Right. If you're okay with Cardi B, you should be okay with Tate. If you're okay with all these things, or the part I will respect if they say, we want to ban Little Nas X and we want to ban Tate. Well, then you have a little bit more credibility. Not saying it's true, not saying it's the right thing to do, but now you have the right to say, fine, I can entertain that idea because you have some kind of logic behind it. But the current argument that the opposition of Tate is creating, again, let's isolate if he committed crime. I'm not I haven't spent, the most time I've spent with them is 8 hours. So I don't know. When I had my experience with Tristan, I like Tristan a lot. To me, I have 2 sons. I would love to see the loyalty of my 2 sons be the way that these 2 are and how much fun they have with each other. They want to be around each other. How many fathers raise boys and they don't want to be around each other? How many parents raise kids and siblings don't want to be around each other? I don't know what this father taught these 2 guys, but these 2 brothers look at each other like they're inseparable. The way they defend each other. You telling me you wouldn't want your sons to be that close to each other? Set the other stuff aside. Would you want your boys to be that close to each other? I think so. So, there's a lot of good. There's a lot of things we can isolate that we could disagree with that they're doing. Great, no problem. I'm willing to entertain that conversation. But stop with the hypocrisy and the bullshit that you're selling to people. And we have to sit there and take it from you as if you're so much above ground and you walk on water. No, you're full of shit. Your argument doesn't carry weight.
Yeah. And what were they like, real quick, Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate off camera compared to on camera from your perspective?
What did I say about you before we got started in the interview? I said what to? I said you're a great interviewer, right? I said you have the ability to ask questions that, not a lot of people are good interviewers.
You said I was smooth.
You're very smooth. I told your girl, you're very smooth. And I remember the first time I walked away. Okay, but guess what? So somebody may come back and say, do you know what Omar did when he was 18 years old? I don't know what you did at 18 years old.
Sure.
I don't know what you did at 16 years old. I don't know what you did at 29 years old. I have no idea. I don't know what you went through the last 12 months. I don't know any of that stuff. But if someone asks me for the 2.5 hours that I've spent time with you, I can judge you for those 2.5 hours and the way you've treated me off camera. I can judge you on that because I have the moral authority and the experience to say, this is what I think of this guy based on the 2.5 hours I spent with him, right? Okay. Based on the 8 hours or so I spent time with these guys, when I was in the military, we were a very tough crowd to be with.
Locker room talk.
Yeah. So me, not just locker room talk. Our group till today, like I got one of my guys message me the other day. He was my sergeant in the Army. He was a guy that, on the weekends, he would drink 27 beers and would drive back from Nashville, Tennessee. And one time we got into a terrible car accident. I got 3 staples in my head. And, we prevented him from getting a DUI. And they eventually, anyways, a bunch of story with this guy's stolen car. He messages me. We're telling stories to each other, right? If you came in our crew and you had thin skin,
yeah,
you would have mental issues.
Get smoked. Yeah,
you would get destroyed. so the soft, the people were very soft. They couldn't be around our circle, right? Okay, that's Tate. You can't be around. They can take shots at you, and then if you can take it back at them, because they understand that game.
It's a little bit of respect.
It's a little bit of that. Okay, it's kind of, you can play the game.
It's like cool and shit talking.
Yeah, exactly. But then you can take it and you can give it and all that. It's kind of like that kind of a culture. And then, look, I mean, if you want to have a good time, those guys are probably going to be the guys to party with. They invited us back. The next time, let's do something in Romania. I said, listen, man, if you want to go, you go. I'm trying to stay married here, so I'm not going back to Romania. But, it was the kind of a person that I can go to dinner with and 5 hours will feel like 5 minutes because I love great conversations. I love laughing. I love talking about important things like politics and finance at the same time, talk shit, debate, do all of that. And they seem like the types of people that do that naturally.
Okay, last question on it. And I got to ask, was there anything surprising that stuck out that maybe you didn't expect about him?
off camera, he shared a few things that he opened up with that obviously I will not talk about, but he opened up. I'm like, okay, interesting that he's talking about that and trusting and opening up. And it's as if once the camera was off, rather than being more arrogant and more cocky and posturing more, he went the other way.
Yeah.
It was more humble. It was more like this way. Yeah. Where, you know, there's a part of it that's showmanship, right? He's a showman. Now, you know, you can be with your girl sometimes, and amongst everybody, we act like, oh, babe, I love you. We're holding hands. We get in the car. Get your hand off me. Can't believe what you said. So there is that side that we don't know either. I'm not a guy that can give that perspective. The only perspective I can give is when the camera was off and the show was off, he was even more likable. It's more human. More human is the right word. I would say he was more human when the camera was off. And you're like, interesting, man. You know, you saw that side. We're like, I like you even more with the camera off. Yeah. You know, we can all put on a show, and then the camera's off, and you're like, oh, okay, that guy's really interesting. Okay, cool. I like him. Oh, wow, what an asshole. Yeah. Off camera. So there is that, but for me, it went the complete opposite way.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed that video. Trust me, if you like this clip, you'll love the full-length interview here. You can click on that right now. Trust me, it is loaded with gems. And also, if you really like that, and you like me, you like these videos, hit that subscribe button. We'll greatly appreciate it. Peace.